So, hi, Sean. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Can you start telling me a little bit about yourself and how you got into the carnivore lifestyle?
Certainly, Joseph. Hi, nice to say hello to you and to your guests, your people that you talk to on your podcast. So I started the carnivore diet in basically because I had a problem with pain. I had arthritis. It was bursitis and tendonitis, diagnosed in 2019. But I'd been having problems with the pain for a number of years, and at that point, it was just getting I had to do something about it. So I tried all the conventional things, including painkillers, cortisone injections, physiotherapy, chiropractor, osteopath, acupuncture, scans, like the ultrasound. I think I had a CAT scan as well. So they were able to identify what is commonly called arthritis. Itis meaning inflammation, the suffix itis, and I guess in 2023, on the June 11th, I made a decision to do something about it, and I researched it for a few weeks by talking to my mobile phone at the time, and basically randomly pressing on the screen to try to bring up some YouTube videos or information, because at that point my eyesight was very bad, and it's still pretty bad. But yeah, I was unable to use the phone. I was unable to use the computer for anything but a little bit of email and a few websites where I could press on a voice button and it'd read the text out for me. So June 11, 2023, I started the keto diet. That's kind of what I found first. And because I was looking for anti-inflammatory diets. The thinking that I had was the arthritis pain was caused by inflammation, and inflammation is caused by sugar. I still hold that's probably key to why I started, because I had that thought. And I think it's the thought that we had when I was growing up. I grew up in the 60s and 70s as a young boy, and I'm pretty sure everyone knew that sugar made you fat, and I'm pretty sure that increased weight makes inflammation, and that's what I did. I stuck with keto, and within a few weeks I felt a lot better because the sugar addiction withdrawals lifted. I think the oxalate dumping, which I had initially, sort of started, and it was making itself obvious that I needed to address electrolytes, because at this stage I really hadn't found all the information. Spending now 12, 16 hours a day looking at information all about diet, lifestyle. It's a real eye-opener what I've found. But yeah, back then I didn't know, so I started the keto, and within about 6 weeks I transitioned to carnivore, basically because I'd run out of the vegetables. And I still, at that point, I really hadn't found carnivore influences, none of the popular ones that I certainly watch on a regular basis now. But still, I kept with it because I was starting to feel better. After 6 weeks, I could feel some of the pain was going away, and it was mostly in my hips. It was also affected my back and shoulders. I had sort of nerve pain, nerve problems. I had anxiety and depression. I was pretty wrecked, to be honest. I could barely walk my guide dog, or work with my guide dog to go shopping, but just walking across the road to go to the park was painful. So I avoided all things. I did a little bit of swimming. I did intermittent fasting, because I'd been researching for a number of years stem cells, and I've been following medical news. I've found out about fasting with studies done on mice. I found that fascinating. But yeah, 18 months of intermittent fasting, so basically 1 meal a day, and not doing it properly as well since I found out. But yeah, and a bit of swimming. I lost a bit of weight, but it didn't lose the inflammation. I didn't feel any better with the pain. But after 6 weeks of keto and then going carnivore, my eyesight also seemed to improve. So I went to an optometrist, and in 2018, I'd been to an ophthalmic ophthalmologist, and I did tests there, and I didn't get any results on the chart in either eye, and they didn't find any cataracts in 2018. But 2023, I think it might have been July 2023, I got tested, and I got a result in my right eye of 6/30 -2. So I'm a few lines down on the chart. I was seeing stuff on the eye chart, which was incredible because, like I said, 5 years earlier, I did not have any results on the eye chart. And for my personal experience, my life experience is it was hard just to answer the phone and swipe right on the button like an iPhone. And I tried the accessibility stuff that you can put onto phones, and it talks to you. It's really hard to use. But yeah, I guess rolling forward. So Joseph, what I did was continue with the carnivore diet. I continued researching on the phone, slowly but surely. I mean, I was able to see more on the phone. It was very apparent. And to start off with, I wasn't seeing any of the smaller stuff, but I was able to read headings like the title of a video, the heading that says comments. Some of the people in the videos I was seeing, and they were described as looking at very angular looking faces. I wasn't seeing the contours. So the people's faces were looking, I'd have to say, ugly, which is kind of a weird statement. But moving forward, everything's looking so much better. People look beautiful. The contours are working. And so 2023, 2024, I did the lion diet, and I'm really glad I did, because there was a very noticeable improvement with going the lion diet. And so for me, that was just water, beef, lamb. And because previous to that, I was having some dairy, and I did notice dairy causing blurriness, which I've basically been able to associate these days with a syndrome, a condition called visual snow syndrome, which I thought it was some physical thing that I was seeing in my eyes that were causing this snow, like being caught in a blizzard, everything sort of goes white. But what I've found is that this is something that it's a chemistry that occurs in the brain, and because of the way I'm doing things, adding things in and out, I've been able to identify a number of things which cause me this visual snow. And of course, it's the number one thing is carbs. If I have carbs, and sometimes I do, and not often, certainly not often anymore. But dairy certainly seems to give me this visual snow. So I've had to stay away from dairy. Although recently I haven't. I had a bit of electrolyte imbalance thing going on, so I thought I'd try to add more calcium in via the dairy. But that hasn't sort of panned out. So the cream that I've been putting in coffee, or just having just every now and again, that needs to go. The cheese that I've been putting on things, that needs to go. And I've slowly sort of cut that out in the past week. And what happens is the visual snow starts to go away. So on the pain front, same sort of deal. If I, at this point, if I was to I don't know, eat some tomatoes even. I've tried that, not for a year or so. I get pain in the wrist, pain in the hip, and I've gone from not being able to walk across the road to I can actually run on the treadmill, which I need to do more often. I'm wearing a CKM at the moment, a continuous ketone monitor, because I've been doing testing with the ketones with fasting, raising my ketones with fasting, and then doing an eyesight test to see improvements, which check, double check of that. I've actually been able to prove that. And also been able to prove that if I eat a bunch of dairy, it affects my vision tests. So the last one wasn't that great. And well, the pain, it's gone away. I suffer from anxiety, and I self-medicated for that with anything I could really over the years, alcohol included. And that's gone. The desire for alcohol is gone. I just don't have the pain, don't have the excuses anymore. I don't know if it's an excuse. I mean, it's a coping mechanism people use, obviously, for all sorts of reasons, and exacerbates the problem, probably. So I'll go through the list of things, and then I'll touch base again on my eyesight. But the list of things that have improved, Joseph, the anxiety and depression, high-grade anxiety. I've always put it down to nervous excitement, I tell people, or the feeling that I just didn't want people to be around me, which is hard because I was often a boss or a team leader in the roles that I've had in jobs. Owning business, I've had staff to look after, and in family and friends, wanting them to be. I didn't want to be around them because it was hard to do that. The depression of going blind and being in pain and nothing working. After spending years and years with doctors, nothing they could do helped. And I was really quite proud to go back to my doctor and say, look, I've done this. I've fixed my problems. And he started doing the diet himself, keto. I've seen him a few times, but I haven't seen him recently. So, and a number of people, family, friends, that have also, I guess, understood what I've done. It's very obvious when I can talk to people and see what they're wearing, and not as good as I'd love to. It's still getting better. But the list of problems: anxiety, depression, arthritis, heartburn, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, snoring, constipation. Heartburn was terrible. I always put it down to the meat. It wasn't the meat. I eat high-fat stuff now, and that I used to consider that that's definitely going to give me heartburn. No problems. The pain in the hips, the back. If I can overdo it, I guess. I'd move a stack, probably 2 ton worth of firewood. I was sore for a couple of days, but nothing. I didn't break anything, and in general, life's good. My brain is on fire. I'm running on 12 cylinders. I'm faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Brother, it's great. I love it. And I can't stop talking about it. As you can see over my shoulder, I've got this sign, this neon sign. It came to me at 10 o'clock at night. I was preparing to go to bed and just learning how to do AI stuff with ChatGPT at the start of this year. I'd never used any of it. And I mean, I'm seeing better on the phone. I'll get back to that. But yeah, I was talking to the phone. I make a bit of art, and this thing came up on the phone. It's like, wow, look at that. It's amazing. So I decided to actually get it produced So I've got that. That's the real thing hanging up on my lounge room wall, and on display for all to see. Because I'm proud of what I've done with the YouTube channel. Proud of what I've been able to do with my health. That's for sure. People around me have quite proud, I guess. Probably also quite sick of me talking about it. That's fine. I don't think I have. Silence is not is not an option. That's the way I'm looking at things. And there's a quote. There's actually many quotes. Which quote could I make? I think silence is not an option. I'm just quoting a singer that I know. The eyesight. So I started off with the 6/30, and then and this is my right eye, and they found cataracts. So I had the cataract operation in my right eye in August 16th, 2023, and after a couple of weeks, that had healed up. So I was able to see a little bit better. I got a 6/21. Leading up to that, I mean, my eyesight did get worse. I got a 6/30 and a 48 and a 60. So 60 is the very, very top of the chart. So I'm glad I did the operation. And glad I did the operation. And then because cataract operation only lasts, the effects, if you like, only lasts for a couple of weeks. And you got a new lens. You're seeing what you can through those new lenses. But my eyesight just keeps continuing to improve. So it's not the cataract operation which has made the improvements ongoing improvements. So I just want to make that clear. So the smaller the number, the better. So 6/21, and then the next one's 18, then 15, then 12, and then 9. And the best result I've had is 6/7.5 -2. The 7.5, that's the second last line from the bottom of the chart. So 7.5 -2, so I missed 2 letters. So I got 3 letters on the second last line on the chart. I even had to sort of move my head around a bit just to try to get the right angles, but I was able to do it, which is great. And in my left eye, was getting some hand movement, so you can sort of see something moving around. But twice, 2025, at the start of 2025, I saw 3 letters. Then during 2025, nothing. And then the last test I got 2 letters in my left eye, and it wasn't as wiggly. The letters sort of moving around. So somewhat of an improvement with my left eye as well, which also has had the cataract operation that was done mid-2024. So at this point, I have been able to, and I'm just saying reverse blindness. I'm reversing it. It's not a cure. It's not curing it, although it's very tempted to say that, considering that the challenges that I have is to understand why it's getting better. Unique in this space is vision getting better, and I keep hearing people talk about it. I mean, I've actually saved to a playlist. There's 70-something people, maybe 80 by now, just mentioning that their eyesight's improved. And people on Facebook, I keep taking screenshots. And elderly people in their 70s and 60s, saying that they've done carnivore for X amount of time and their eyesight's improved. They don't need to wear their glasses, or they've had to change their prescription. Some with diagnosed conditions, but basically a lot of them are saying, I started because of this issue, and these things got better. Oh, and also my eyesight, which is great. I mean, I'm now listening out for that sort of thing, because my own personal anecdote is very strong, and I've been able to get all the documents. I've been recording all my documents since when I was first diagnosed in 2006, which is now 19 years ago. So I've got a long history of all the records and the imaging, and if there is any noticeable improvements, maybe even AI can look into past and present and potentially future imaging to see what changes it can spot. But yeah, no, I've been able to document everything, which is also great because my case has been written up to be published in the medical literature. We're looking for people to what's the word? Yeah, case series. We're looking for other people that maybe have similar experiences for a case series, and people can get in touch with me. I'll give my contact details after this. After I finish going on and on and on and on and on about this stuff, which is just so great. Joseph, I'll let you talk. You've got some questions for me, no doubt. Yeah,
That's true.
that.
That's right. I mean, I like listening to your story. We're building up to it. So, pretty much you have a very poor vision, when you started, and then it became functional, and then it became excellent. I mean, that's awesome just alone by itself. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing your eyesight like improve like that, that's something amazing. I mean, you just mentioned that you're looking for more cases similar to this, right? And that it's going to go to the medical literature. So that itself is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before you started Carnivore, like how long did you do the research, or how, before you jumped on into it? Did you like took your time? Did you took like several months or maybe just a couple? And then you decided, hey, I'm just going to do this because you know what? I'm having a lot of problems. Like things you mentioned were anxiety, depression, and you have arthritis. Did you just like jump onto it? Did you have trouble like switching your diet?
Sure. So I decided to do something and started researching on the phone. I wasn't able to see much or see anything really. So a lot of it was pressing on things that were irrelevant and trying to skip ads and stuff like that. So yeah, I think 2 weeks I was listening to this stuff and I said to my partner, yeah, I'm going to start it tomorrow. My partner at the time, and she was going to do it as well, this keto thing. She decided not to do it. I actually don't even know why. We've actually broken up since, which is unfortunate. But the transition I had was a little bit rough because I hadn't learned anything about electrolytes. I'd found Thomas DeLauer. I'd found Dr. Sten Ekberg. I'd found, I haven't found any of the carnivore people at this point. I had heard about it, I think previously, maybe months and months and months before, from an interview with Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. And that's something that I think came up on Facebook, maybe a Facebook thing. It's just, they're only fairly short. So I think I may have heard it at that point, and I dismissed it, of course. So yeah, within the 4 weeks, I realized that I'd needed to get electrolytes. Yeah, so I got the electrolyte stuff, the magnesium, and but I'd had quite a bit of the oxalate dumping, especially around my ankles and my back. My ankles were itchy, and just recently, in the past week or so, I've been oxalate dumping around my ankles on my left. Yeah, it's still there. I can feel it on my left foot. I used to play a lot of football, a lot of soccer and Aussie rules, and I'm right-footed, so I'm accurate with my right foot, but I used to do a lot with my left foot. I guess a bit more inaccurate, and the location that this dumping's happening has probably received quite a lot of damage from kicking stuff over the years. So I had that oxalate dumping. It's people also have labelled it incorrectly keto flu, but the transition for me was, other than that, was fine. I didn't have any stomach problems. I did transition over 6 weeks, so I think that's probably the go for me, maybe other people as well. Slowly, I mean, I low carbs. I wasn't having any sugar to start off with, but I was having some leafy greens or whatever, and a few keto snacks as well, I should say. But so I didn't have much support at home. There was people at the time sort of baking cakes and doing the normal thing, and I had to try to navigate things myself. But I did that, and successfully. And I guess in January 2024, I did the Lion Diet, and at that point, I realized, wow, okay, this is really working. And I was doing more research, and by mid 2024, I decided, I mean, I've really got to start talking about this. So I started the YouTube channel, started talking about it. I thought I'd do a few videos. That's sort of gone past a few videos, which is great. For me, it's not just the challenge of having to learn everything. I've had to learn how to use the mobile phone. I've had to learn how to use social media. I was using Facebook a little bit on the computer, but not on the phone. So I've joined Facebook, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. What else? I think that's enough, really. So that's all the social media. So you can look for me there on Eyes on Carnivore. Eyes on Carnivore. Sort of lucky to get that handle across all platforms. But the transition, I think, was pretty easy once I started finding some of the carnivore influences, and I found Dave Mack, and I've been on Dave's channel a few times now. Yeah, I have been approached to be on some bigger channels, but I'm trying to keep my head a little bit low. I think things are going pretty well at the moment, but I'm happy to do interviews with people like yourself. Some of the challenges that I've had actually is dealing with social media and dealing with the kickback from people not believing me, and especially it is quite disappointing. People in disability groups that I've joined these groups. I've learned how to use Facebook. I've joined these groups and started to talk about the carnivore diet, and I've been blocked, banned, censored, kicked out, ridiculed, insulted. You wouldn't believe what I've been through. Mm-hmm. Made me cry. It's terrible, the abuse that I've had to put up with just to try to help other people. But I'm persistent. I'm thick-skinned. I'm smart. I'm funny. I can make fun of everybody and turn things around. Lemons into lemonade. Thank you very much. And so I think I've strayed a little bit from your question there, Joseph, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Yeah, I think you did cover. We went over a little bit over the question, but you covered something which is the Facebook. So you were like censored. Were you like kicked out of a group or something? Was that what you're saying? Right?
Yes. Group disability. So people with my condition, which is called retinitis pigmentosa, being kicked out of the group for talking about it. A couple of groups started off like a few months ago. It was the start of this year, 2025, I think. So I kind of ignored that, but I joined a few more groups, and then there was this one. It was a friend. One of the title of the group had friendly in the name. I thought, a friendly group. I'll post some stuff. What I've posted was quite innocuous to start off with. It wasn't talking about carnivore diet, so there's a bit of acceptance there, and it's some positive feedback. But I think, I don't know, there was someone sniffing around, I think, on my own personal profile, and then that raised questions, and maybe it was a post that got the moderators and admins involved. So my posts were deleted, and up came a post about debunking the potential benefits of the carnivore diet. So, and of course, it was the usual propaganda. Doesn't have fiber, lacks vitamin C, lacks this, lacks that. It's give you hard to see. Just the usual propaganda, not fact-based, evidence-based information, but something that I think, by the looks of it, was just written by ChatGPT. Just debunk this propaganda, copy paste. You can tell with the M dashes, EM dashes, the hyphens, and what is where it came from. But still, and then kicked out of the group. So I kind of took some screenshots of stuff and did a reaction video to that group. And I am an admin of another group, not an admin, a moderator of another group, and I've decided to keep my head low because the pushback, I think, is justified in a certain respect. Because when I first heard about the carnivore diet, I thought that's crazy, and I think if you're coming across this information for the first time, you'd have to go to your knowledge base, look up your internal database. What do I know about eating just meat? Well, nothing really, but I've been told that eating meat's bad because of these reasons, and therefore this is my opinion. So people form an opinion based upon, well, not thinking. For the most part, it's just what they've heard, whether it's through media, mass media, from a person, a friend, family member, whoever, who's basically talking about their own experience with diet, or what's in the general public sphere. So I can understand that, but at the same time, I've got to find ways of bridging the gap of understanding that missing information. I feel that's where my channel is kind of hitting the mark. The video that came out just this morning, hopefully it'll do well, is all about calories. The calorie myth, where did this metric come from, the calorie metric, and why does eating food somehow equate to heat? And heat being a measurement of light, how does eating food equate to light, a measurement of light? So some of the things that we're doing, myself and Jimmy, I'm vision impaired, of course. I still have a white cane and a guide dog, and I still, obviously, I need help with doing a lot of stuff, but Jimmy's my video editor, so we put stuff together, and hopefully the language that we use is not too threatening. It's the scripts that I'm putting together are a bit more appealing, and I have been getting some help from AI to do that. I've learned how to do that this year quite successfully with my own AI computer in the back here. That's capable of generating stuff, because I can't really afford to go out and pay someone to do it for me. I don't really see myself using the online tools, so I can just use some of the open source stuff. My background as a computer programmer, I use my knowledge, and I use a Linux computer and not Windows. So a lot of the Linux stuff I can do, it's a command line, it's text based. I find text spaces, everything's, I can set things up to be high contrast. So it's a lot easier for me to do work on the computer now, which is fantastic, because that's kind of like that was my skill, that was my experience. For me, from the age of 14, I started using computers. It was a VAX mainframe computer at a university. I had access with my mum into that sort of stuff, and being able to use the technology and some of my experience to come up to speed with social media, come up to speed with YouTube, and all that's been great. I'll throw in also, I'm not making money out of any of this. It costs me money. The monetization for the YouTube's all been gifted to the Healing Humanity documentary and subsequent series. So I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling my story. Don't give people advice. Don't have any coaching to sell or anything like that. And I hope that that will encourage people to share the videos, and basically help other people. Because Joseph, from my my deep dive, everything's a deep dive these days. So my investigation, my investigation into how many people could be improve their vision, or not go blind in the world, is 2 billion. 2 billion people I could help. That's bigger than diabetes. That's bigger than heart disease. I mean, I think that beats out pretty much all other diseases. Not sure, maybe, but yeah, because quite a lot of people have the need for glasses at a later age. That seems to be a thing. What I'm saying is it shouldn't need to be a thing. And 2 billion people, if we can reach that number on YouTube algorithm, let's go. And then that'd be great. I don't think 2 billion is possible. But yeah, to 2026, let's set a high target. Joseph, pick me a number. What's my subscriber number I should reach? I'm at about 1,500 at the moment.
For 2026, I hope you get over 2,000.
2,000?
Yeah. Are we reaching for a higher number?
Yeah, I'm thinking, that's an underestimate. I don't know. What profession do you work in? It's definitely not marketing and sales. Look, I'd be sitting. I'm thinking of a few extra zeros. 200,000.
200,000. Okay.
200,000. Okay, 20,000. 20,000. 20,000 would be great. 2,000. Yeah, I can do that in an instant.
All right.
You do your thing. You sell, and hit the like button, subscribe, and share Joseph's stuff as best you can.
Right.
We need to get the word out there. Everybody's been shadow banned that's talking about this. If we were doing vegan channels, you would have 2,000 subscribers, maybe extra per week if you had good content. But it's just not happening with this space. And the reason is obvious, because we're a threat to their income. It's all about the money.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. You go ahead. I've got plenty to say. Let's focus me on a question, perhaps.
Okay. So knowing what you know now, I guess we'll look back to the beginning, right? Actually, let me ask you first, what was your favorite food, before you went keto, and then you went carnivore, and then you went strict lions?
If you asked me that before I started, I would have said pizza. Absolutely, without question. And do I crave it now? No, I don't crave anything, actually.
Yeah, it all goes away.
What's my favorite now, though? I'm thinking, what's my favorite now? I think my favorite now is a T-bone steak.
Okay.
That's definitely an inch thick T-bone steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, we're gonna look back to the beginning. What was the mistake that you made? How did you learn from them? Did you ever had doubt, the whole carnivore thing was not working for you? What was, because I'm thinking your eyesight getting better, your other health issues was improving. I'm assuming they're all gradual. Like, have you ever had a moment like where, oh, this is not working? I think I might just quit. Something like that.
Sure. No, not really. It was pretty obvious to me that something's happening, and I really did get into the research quite quickly, and finding out that changing the fuel source, I think, is probably key to this. Yeah, fuel source being beta hydroxybutyrate, BHB, a ketone. The main ketone, and the fuel source, an anti-inflammatory, acts upon the NLRP3 inflammasome pathway, it shuts it down, kind of thing. It's antioxidant, and it also acts upon histone deacetylase to provide gene expression. So this phenomenon is epigenetics. And my thinking on this is that when someone has a genetic disease, such as myself, I've got a genetic mutation called RP1 mutant gene, so the RP1. But the penetrance for RP1 is not 100%, and that pretty much goes for a number of most of them. I think breast cancer, BRCA1 gene, it's a 50% penetrance. That means you got 50% chance of getting the disease and 50% chance of not getting the disease, the cancer, breast cancer. So epigenetics is, to my mind, the action that pulls the trigger, that kind of explains how some people have the mutation and don't get the symptoms. So essentially, in my case, I had the mutation RP1. My landscape was, my lifestyle was terrible, starting with my diet, lack of exercise, absolutely almost no sun, working around computers, high levels EMF, almost all the time. I was one of the first people to have a mobile phone, a portable mobile phone that you could carry around in the 80s. So I've been around technology for a very long time. My predisposition, the genetic gun was loaded with my genes, but epigenetics pulled the trigger. I think that's the best way to explain what's going on with other people as well. And but also, I think, points out to the landscape of disease, the terrain, if you like, is not just diet. It's multifactorial. I'm really leaning heavily on sunlight as being a very big part of my healing process. Because believe it or not, in 2023, 2024, I was in a tanning competition with somebody, who can get the brownest. I didn't win, ironically. But, and I got my best results around about that time. And things kind of plateaued out this year a bit. I mean, I got the best result ever, but I'm expecting more somehow. I don't know why. But I think getting out the sun, leaning heavily on that. I love the idea of building up your solar callus. Filtered water. I live in a suburban area currently. I used to be a farmer and just on tank water, just on rainwater, which is great. But here I've got filtered water. So diet, obviously, a little bit of exercise. I mean, I don't do weights. I do have all the equipment. I'm very slack. I spend a lot of time on the computer where I should be outside doing my thing outside. And maybe in the future, I've actually heard about these computers and even mobile phones that are coming out without the blue light and more being red light, and you can use them outside. So that might be exciting, being able to use technology outside, whereas at the moment for myself, it'd be way too glaring for most people, really, too. So Yeah, I think I might have strayed off your question again.
It's okay. Um, so I think you spoke about earlier, like how you didn't want to be around people in the beginning, right? Um, has that gotten better? Like, because I was gonna follow up, like, what is the hardest thing about being carnivore for you? Was it like a social gatherings? For me, social gatherings, right? And then the travel, and then the cravings in the beginning, which already went away, but the social gatherings, like, like we have a dinner coming up with like relatives and friends, and it's kind of hard because you're gonna talk about the carnivore. You will have to. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't have as many of the traditions. I mean, you guys have just been all about to have Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
I believe. Yep. And
Correct.
so we don't really have that tradition. For myself, I now live alone. I have people that come and help me out with stuff. I've got a few friends, but I guess I just don't have the need to go out and do that sort of thing. So yeah, that hasn't really come up. The times that I have gone out and I've just been quite clear, I just want a steak and put an egg on top. If I'm going for a pub counter meal sort of thing. Been a few times to the local rib house, and of course, just have the ribs. I just avoid the sauce, don't get the chips, and I've been through McDonald's drive-through a few times and just ordered the beef patties, which is quite convenient, really. You consider you can get meat on the go from a window. It's great. But yeah, no, my first getting into it was strategizing just meals, and that became quite easy because I just grab some frozen stuff out of the freezer and defrost it overnight, and that's a bit of a lucky dip at times because bad eyesight, I don't necessarily know what I'm grabbing. But yeah, I think over the time I've honed down my desire to do certain things. I have a regular outing, and I have a decaf coffee. Sometimes I have some cream in the coffee. I don't have cake, but sometimes I'll have a treat, and I don't feel bad about it. But yeah, as I mentioned before, I've been self-experimenting on stuff, so I really do know what affects me, and it's 2.5 years of doing this. There's been enough time to know what works and what doesn't work. So for myself, Thanksgiving sounds like it would be great to have some turkey with some gravy and stuffing. But I think I can avoid the stuffing. Bit of gravy, maybe, but definitely I'd go for the turkey.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Yeah. So if you have to describe the impact of carnivore, like in one word, what would it be and why?
Pow. Sorry, a bit of a Batman fan. It just instantly came up like the Batman, pow, wham. The words that come after in the old Batman movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, pow. Yeah, take that, suck it. It's in your face. It's quite obvious you're eating just meat, and if you're doing well, it's quite obvious that you're doing well. You can just see the smile on my face. I light up when I talk about this stuff. It's great.
Mm.
Yeah. Pow. That's my word.
That's a good one.
It's the first indicator. You should prepare people for questions like that. You should come up with moo. Might not be appropriate. Yeah. Next.
Yeah, that's a good one. um, so with your journey, like how do you define like success? I know because maybe not just like physical changes, maybe on a personal level. I know your eyesight have improved greatly and so many other beneficial, right? So
Mm.
like how would you like from your experience, just like how would you define your success or progress?
I think I'm going to have to use another word, not power. Amazing is it's kind of mind blowing, the difference in myself, the way I think and feel about things has changed, opposite to the way I used to think and feel about things. Not that I was a terribly negative person, but I think I did catastrophize, see the worst in things, worry a lot. And now I've still got the same things in my life, I guess, but I don't worry about anything. I don't catastrophize. Don't catastrophize. That's for sure. The changes with my life has affected other people as well. I'm in a lucky position. I am able to help other people, and I've taken the opportunity to do that. And that's been really nice for me to feel like I'm making a difference. Whereas before, without saying the word, I was pretty close to not wanting to be around and losing hope, I guess. You've been thinking bad thoughts for years, but actually constructively doing something about it. And a very smart lady said to me, what you need to do is reprogram yourself. Mm-hmm. And as a programmer, I thought about that. It's just like, wow, that's exactly what I need to do. And at the time, I didn't know how to do it. But as it turned out, I've done that. I've turned my life around, and I wish to thank that person. Her name is Leslie. And she was very instrumental in me doing what I did, and me being so stubborn about things, being able to stick to it as well. For other people, bring out your stubbornness, fight back against what you've been told. Don't just accept life as being one with pain and suffering. That's not the way it should be. If this is the Garden of Eden, if this is a place of good, and sure, there's going to be evil, you can choose what you want to be. You don't have to walk down that middle line, the wide open door, which everybody goes through. You look for that narrow door. You might have to open it for yourself and walk through it yourself, by yourself, without help. But you'll be rewarded on the other side. That's a beautiful way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So if you can give an advice to someone just starting, or maybe slightly specific, like somebody having eye problems, right? Someone facing serious eye problems, or maybe they're about to lose their sight, and then they heard your story, what would it be?
And I think for many people, if you've got your reason why, it's almost like there's nothing to lose. If you're afraid of doing it because it's going to make your health worse, I think you need to really look around, because that's not what's happening. The actual opposite of that is happening. People are getting better, and that it just becomes way obvious when you watch channels like yours, mine, Dave Mack, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Berry, Dr. Baker. Dr. Ovadia. There's just so many, Dr. Eric Westman. There's so many good doctors out there that are smart. They've figured this out for themselves, because literally, like myself, I've had to do something. Couldn't just go through life on painkillers. You know, I wasn't going to last. I wasn't going to last at 60 is my prediction. But yeah, now 2.5 years later, I'm looking forward to that number. So how to start? Yeah, I do research. On my channel, I've got a playlist. It's called Getting Started Keto Carnivore. Check out that sort of playlist. Yeah, look for Getting Started. Look for the influencers. There's Dr. Chafee. I mean, he's just got great information all the time. Look for his the Plant Free MD. Yeah, I think draw a line in the sand. If you've got your reason why, you don't have anything to be afraid of. You can see other people as getting help. You might have to fend off people that are wanting to say good things and at the same time try to put you off doing it. So you have to ignore those people. Also, you probably want to plan for the sugar addiction, and it's real. For me, it took a couple of weeks to get through that first 2 weeks. It was rough. And if you've got your electrolytes, if you've taken as much as you can out of the pantry, or take your temptations away, give it away, chuck it in the bin, whatever you need to do. And transition slowly. You know, you don't have to do it overnight. It's not recommended to do that unless you really, really want to. You might have later repercussions, but, you know, it's probably nothing that can't be fixed. I've heard people that transition overnight and they may need to reset their gut microbiome, maybe with a bit of a fasting or other methods. I'm not the expert on that, but yeah, so transition, what I did is over 6 weeks, I didn't have any toileting issues whatsoever. I didn't have any headaches, pain, fever, nothing, just the oxalate dumping and just feeling a bit shitty for a while. And that was okay. I could deal with that. Not as bad as giving up alcohol, I don't think, which is yet another addiction. You got to look at it. I mean, alcohol is a drug, and you go through withdrawals. Sugar is a drug, and you go through withdrawals. They're exact same withdrawals as any other drug. So that should tell you something. If you're having a cold and flu fever type thing, and you know, oxalate dumping and things like this going on, that's really highlights how much sugar is a drug, and yeah, the same sugar that we're feeding to our children.
That's awesome. Just some future perspective question. How do you see carnivore in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see carnivore will be in a positive light or in a good light? Meaning positive, a lot of people will be trying this, more people joining in, more people confidently doing it. And then negative would be like false information or maybe censorship because it's working for so many people. Like you talk about social media censorship, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So where are we? 2025 now, about to roll into 2026. I'm thinking the next 4 years, for a number of reasons, are going to be tumultuous. People are going to lose their jobs. People are going to, this is because of AI. Compound that with this information that we're putting out, potentially shutting down whole industries, that creates chaos. Out of chaos comes order, but I think it's going to take that 4 years or more to get through that. And the best way, for the way I'm thinking about doing it, is just to keep myself on top of everything. This is why I've got my own AI computer, and I'm using the open source to do my own research. I don't have to use ChatGPT or any of those ones, I can use something like Minimax, which essentially does outperform. I do everything locally. The AI models, which are governed by guidelines, regulations set out by 3-letter organisations, must also be ignored, because the information coming out of those AI probably at some point will be biased, if not biased already. And I'm finding some AI, you can train it to what you want to hear, and it'll follow your own personal bias. But I think if they wanted to promote a certain way, the plant-based agenda, for example, they could easily do that. So that's why I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. The Google's initiatives with the AI that's doing health research, the idea of coming up with new chemicals, new proteins, and for the AI to actually control the lab and build and test stuff in real time. So maybe come up with something and then overnight test it. That to me is quite exciting, because that could be the future of things that we just don't expect. And I'm not a particular futurist, but I think Carnivore Diet and the landscape things are only going to take my eyesight so far. I'm not going to be able to see without further adjunct technology. I'm not going to be able to see as good as I'd like to. I probably won't be able to drive a car or see a landscape or things. This is my damage that's already been done to my eyes. But I think maybe if the brain is able to interpret the damaged signals better, that's what's happening at the moment. I think if the eyes can do remarkable repair, I think there's a little bit of that going on, but I'd like to be able to promote that. So, I'm sort of tantalized by the idea that this change is going to be for the good. So in a roundabout sort of way of answering your question there, Joseph, is I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to take a while. I think people need to be open-minded and keep abreast of the reality that the bias that comes from us as humans is potentially already programmed into the AI. And it's kind of, do we get my AI to battle their AI and see who wins? I don't know. It's kind of up to what the drug manufacturers come up with as far as, repair systems for my eyesight, repair systems for someone that's got really severe problems where they're managing their condition currently with diet, which is great. I'm thinking mental health conditions. But, these people may have done enough damage. They need more. So, and this is where I still think holding hands with the drug company attitude to, yes, making money, but you've actually got to do it in the right way, not by symptom management, but by actual cures, like reversing conditions and bettering the biology of humans. The transhumanist sort of idea would be, I can press a button on my temple and turn my vision into infrared or long range, or, I can just have a thought and record some video through my own eyes. That sort of thing is potentially possible in the future. And as scary as it might sound for the misuse of that technology, I think for the betterment of our species, we need to look at all angles. And some people just might want to go back to nature and live in caves, and some people might want to have Neuralink implants and talk to aliens in another dimension. Who knows? It's a
Yeah.
world of opportunity. World of opportunities, Joseph. That's the way I'm thinking. We're in a real land of change, time of change,
Yeah.
and for your own self. How long did your journey start, and has it changed your life in such dramatic ways that you started up a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it did. It started about 10 years ago, probably even
10
more.
years, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was the first time I heard it. It's just I like many carnivore people, we dismissed it as crazy in the beginning, and
Yeah.
then I tried to do the research thing again like last year, and then that's when okay, because I'm desperate to heal my health issues, so I'm gonna give it a try. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, and life has changed for you.
It did. Same issues you were facing, some of the early signs of arthritis. I had a tennis elbow. I have a sleep apnea. I'm guessing I'm starting to feel depressed, some of the
Yeah.
things. Yeah. I have a skin issues, psoriasis, eczema, done many biopsies in the past. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
And you're on your healing journey, as you might say. So, is it a diet? Is it a lifestyle? How would you frame it for people?
I think I just call it carnivore because some people, they feel like it's not just a diet. This is a lifestyle thing, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah. So for me, I think it's more of a lifestyle because it's your way of life. It's more. It's not just gonna be about food. This is the way you're gonna like approach things, right?
Mm, yeah.
So for me, yeah, it's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah. That's the way I look at it as well.
Hmm.
I hesitate to call it a diet because I'm not losing weight. In fact, recently I put on a bit of weight because I've been eating cheese.
Yeah.
But my weight management is just self-control. I don't have to manage anything. I don't manage the amount of food. I just eat till I'm hungry and stop eating. The types of food I vary a little bit, but it's just so easy to do the carnivore. And I think for what you say, I mean, just call it carnivore. Yeah, makes it sound like a bit of a club. I mean, the Carnivore Club.
I feel
And
like carnivore. You mentioned carnivore diet for probably for newbies it would work, but then like if you know someone who's been doing carnivore, then yes, you would just have to tell them it's a lifestyle. But for someone who's
yep,
just starting, I guess the best approach would be just calling it carnivore diet.
indeed, yep, indeed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sean, if people want to reach out or follow you, where's the best place to connect?
Sure. Okay, so I'm on all the social media. Look for Eyes on Carnivore. It's the handle. Same with YouTube. Eyes on Carnivore is the handle and the name of the channel. If someone wants to reach out to my email, it's eyesoncarnivore@gmail.com. I encourage people to come and check out what I'm doing. A lot of it's focused around the Eyesight stuff. Me doing tests. I put the test results up on the screen and all that sort of stuff. I've done a few interviews with people with that have reversed their eyesight or gotten better eyesight. But they're in Australia, and the difficulties of time frames. I am kind of interested in doing interviews with other people or interviewing other people with vision improvements. So if you want to contact me about that, I'm happy to have a chat. And other social media, that's pretty much it. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, X/Twitter, And yeah, just look for Eyes on Carnivore. My name's Sean. Oh yeah, actually, I should mention I've got an Eyes on Carnivore Facebook group. So it's just me posting stuff, but it's a good way to keep touch with me, or you can find me there and reach out if you like. And I'm active in various Facebook groups, various vision impaired groups. Like I stressed, man, in 2023 I couldn't use technology. 2024 I've kind of learned how to do everything, and mid 2024 I started doing the YouTubes. But 2025 this year I've started learning how to do the AI stuff, and I've even written a few little programs because I used to be a programmer. Just some batch stuff, just batch files, just automate some tasks on the Linux computer, which is great. Anyhow, so so reach out to me. I'm happy to have a chat. I don't provide any coaching or advice. I can just tell you my story, and that hopefully will help people out.
That's excellent, Sean. I'll make sure to post all of them in the description. Sean, thank you again for joining me in this interview. A pleasure to have you. I enjoyed hearing your story and definitely learning more about your journey.
Indeed, Joseph. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to your audience. Thank you.